Hi everyone, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster, and can you believe it's already day 5 of our video series, A Week of Blooms, featuring Penny Black's newest floral creative dyes. Today might be my favorite day, I'm not sure. I'm curious to know if you have any favorite days or favorite card designs that we've done so far this week. Leave me a comment down in the YouTube comment section below. I would love to know what you're loving. Today I am showcasing this die done in 2 different techniques and also layering up the actual die in 2 different ways, which actually makes it looks to me like 2 different types of flowers even. So this is the die 51-735 and Impression. If you love daisies, this one is such a beauty. Like I've done in all of the other videos, and if you haven't seen them, I'll link them down in the YouTube description box for you below. I have die cut this and I'm layering it onto heavy white cardstock just to give it some extra dimension, and I think that just really looks pretty. Now this is so easy, it's a white daisy. So I'm starting here with just using colored cardstock or white, and I'm gluing all of those pieces onto the heavyweight cardstock. You can see I've got the yellow centers here that I'm gluing, so everything's getting that layer on the heavyweight cardstock, which again looks so pretty when it's all put together. Now you can really put these centers wherever you want. There's no wrong way. You can mix and match which way they go, but you can also look at your packaging or pause the video here if you're wanting to match it up exactly like this. Here I'm going to add my colored cardstock on top of this white die cut. It's kind of hard to see. It's a lighter green there that I'm putting on top of the heavyweight white cardstock. And then I'll do the same thing here with the stems and start assembling. So you can arrange these however you want. We've given you some different sizes of stems and curves to the stems to let you decide and give you some options for however you want to set it up. I really liked them sort of growing and peering like they're growing off to the sun on the right hand side. So that is sort of the arrangement that I am going with. Kind of playing around with that, and then where to put the glue. I like to build the piece before I put it on my card. Not always, but I sort of did for this one. So that's something you can try too. You can try gluing your piece together first, or your collection of flowers first, instead of gluing them right onto your card. So then you can take that whole piece over to your card and position it on there however you would like. Once I have that together, I'm ready to add my little leaves here. I like that these are just a little bit different type of leaf, a little wispier and open looking, fun curve to those as well. And then I'm going to work on my background. So I have die cut using our Dainty Dashes stackers. These stacker sets and stitching die cuts, you can see I reach for them all the time. I actually have a box with them sitting on my desk handy at all times so I can grab them to finish off my cards. Like I've done in the other videos, I masked off that stitching edge and now I'm adding some ink to the background. And I'm starting off of the edge and working my way on in a circular motion. I wanted to have some color on this background so that the white of the flowers would really pop, but I didn't want to go too dark. So I'm using some Evergreen Bough and some Forest Moss here. Now all of the colors that I'm using will be listed down below in the YouTube description box. All of my supplies are listed down there, and the Penny Black supplies are listed and linked for you to the Penny Black online store. And after I added those 2 colors, I'm just going to grab my Memento ink and add a little bit of this around the edges, mostly so that, again, the white will pop and I'll get that nice look when I remove the washi tape that is masking off the edges of this die cut background. And it just creates that great dimension and the look that you've done some layering and matting without actually doing any at all. This card was so easy then to put together. I simply stamped down in that bottom corner a sentiment from 30-283 snippets. This is an older set of ours, but I reach for it a lot for just tiny little one-line sentiments. and I adhered my flowers onto that background, and the card is complete. So no painting required, and you have a really beautiful, happy card. Daisies are so cheerful, and I think these die cuts are really cheerful and very easy layering dies to work with. Now, I told you I was going to layer them up in a different way, so don't be afraid with your layering dies to just play and see what you can come up with. And this one is especially fun for that. So I went ahead and I cut this a couple of times from Canson 140-pound watercolor paper. I'm painting it using Distress Ink Reinkers used as watercolor. So I just put a drop of that reinker into a little plastic palette. You can even use an old acrylic block or a plate, like an old plate even, something non-porous. Just put a drop of your reinker on there and use it as paint. Now for the part of the flower that's going to be the sort of the background layer of the flower, I went with a little bit darker color, and for the front petal, I'm going in a little bit lighter color. You could do this with colored cardstock too. You certainly wouldn't have to do it with paint. I just wanted to show you some different ways and techniques you can use with these really beautiful floral die cuts. So I do want a little bit of that darker color here on this down at the bottom so they do look like they go together, but I want that contrast when I put them on top that I see the two different colors. Now when I'm painting these little pieces, I do like to put them on like some painter's tape, or here I'm using some masking tape. I do dab that tape off on like my sweater a few times before I actually put the paper onto it so that it isn't too sticky and then they rip when I peel them off. And then I can just easily paint these little skinny pieces. Again, all of the exact paint colors or distress reinkers used as paints, those colors are listed in the YouTube description box below. Just adding this, darkening this up a little bit on these stems. Now I'm going to just use my hands here to give that a little dimension for that front layer, curl it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to layer it on top of that darker layer behind. And isn't that pretty? It's like a totally different flower. And I'm going to do that again here with this one. There's no right or wrong way to do this, no right or wrong layer. And then I'm going to take that center, that white center, and just glue that right in there, even for some more dimension. And then I'll do the same on this flower. And I do think that white little bit in there just adds so much. And then I can use my stems here to create a different design or layout for these two flowers. Different than the first card that we did. Kind of get a crisscross in there, which I think has a nice elegant look to it. And again, I'm assembling this before I put it on my card. Then I can have it all glued together and move this piece as a whole to find the design that I want to fit my card. Both of the cards in today's video are standard A2 size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'll put this other one down here. Now I've done the same thing. I've used the same Dainty Dashes frame die set, and I'm just inking the background. This time I'm just using a little bit of a neutral colored ink. Again, the color will be listed down below using a Memento ink blending tool, and a foam pad. And I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on this. I'm using the 30-238 footnotes. I kept my washi tape mask around the edges on there, and then I'm going to ink this up with that same color of Memento ink and stamp it a couple of times here. And I just love what that adds. You can see I've removed that washi tape masking around that outer border, and I'm ready to glue down my dies on there. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to play around with this. I could see this in a whole set of cards in different colors. too. So here's a look at that finished card. I hope you enjoyed today's video and it's got you inspired. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can connect with Penny Black and get lots of daily inspiration in many different places. So be sure to check us out on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, as well as Instagram, our website, and our blog. And those are all linked for you down in the description box below. Happy stamping!